Hey guys, it's your girl, aka Rosarita, and this morning this is important. Pay attention. Okay, so this is what's going on. I'm going to familiarize you with some things. Remember, if you can, because we have short memories. 2008, 2010, that was during the housing crisis. I was in the mortgage industry at that time. People were buying homes that they couldn't afford because they were doing it with just, say, stated income. That's what they were, stated income loans. You could tell them you was making $10,000 a month. They'll give you a house. Not only would they give you one, they give you two. Okay, so they were buying up houses thinking they were going to get rich, and they were doing them on short-term loans, which is an adjustable rate mortgage. And so when it all came down, they weren't able to keep the house. So the houses went into foreclosures because they couldn't refinance or refinance it. Okay, so the houses went into foreclosures. I know here in Las Vegas, you could ride down a block and see 2 or 3 houses with the white tag on the door with the blue tape, letting people know that this house is in foreclosure. It was terrible. It was terrible because half the people, it was terrible. Okay, so anyway, how can I say this? That's when the scams started. Okay, now let me tell you about the scams that I ran across because I got out there. I was in mortgages at that time, and yes, I did some adjustable rate mortgages. So I wasn't, but mine were. I would put people in one, and mine were anywhere from 3 to 5 years. Okay, a lot of lenders would do 2 years, and that was to get you to come back and do it again with them, okay? Because they're making money hand over fist because you coming back every 2 years because you need to do this. My thing was 3 to 5 years, and I put a penalty on it. If you do it before, you're going to pay this. But anyway, let's get into this, okay? So now we're facing the same thing, but in a different manner, because what it is now is people have bought homes, high-end homes, thinking that the home value was there, and the home value is not there. The price of homes are coming down. Okay, I was speaking to my daughter the other day, and she said, and she's not in a big development either. She said there are 5 houses that have come on the market in her little development. That means that people are trying to get the hell up out of these houses before they lose them. This was something that I've been looking at. It's going to happen again. And this is why I'm saying don't get scammed. When I was in the mortgage industry, I said, well, let me get out here and see what's going on, because I would look online a lot and see houses for rent. Okay, and they were at really great prices. So this is where I'm caution. And so I took a couple pictures of them, and I called the person that listed the home and said, you know what, I want to see this house. Well, one of them was a woman, whatever, I don't know what it was. Anyway, she told me, oh yeah, come on, yeah, you should come see it today. It's a beautiful home. Okay, well, this house had the architecture of a modern house. Okay, so I get in my car, and I wasn't by myself, if you know what I mean. Okay, I ride over, and the neighborhood had no way would have this house in it. So I made 2 U-turns, and on my way to go out, she runs out. Hey, she was okay. I said, okay, let me back up. I backed up. I said, yes. She said, were you looking for whatever? I said, yeah. I said, this is the address, but this is definitely not the house. She said, you know what, my assistant put that house on there, and she shouldn't have put that house on there, but this is the house for rent. I said, oh. And I'm looking like, she could see it in my face. I'm not really interested. She said, but you need to come in and see it. It's pristine. It's a nice house. It's a nice neighborhood. Got a lot of kids. I said, well, I'm not interested in the kids because my kids are grown. Okay. So I park my car. I get out. I may let her walk in front of me. Okay. Because I'm not walking behind you. Because this is already a scam radar. Okay. So I'm walking behind her. We get to the door. I could see where the door, somebody had broke in the house because the side molding on the door had been cracked. And then not only that, had been in foreclosure because the tape on the door, they had taken the stuff off the door, but you could see the residue of the square tape on the door. And I was like, foreclosure. And the lock, you could see the lock. They had put a lock on the door, but and the paint, you could see it because when you put a new lock on or whatever, the paint around the lock is not the same as the door, or it may be missing. So I let her go forward. She went in. I said, what's in the closet on the right? Oh, that's just the coat closet. She opened it up. I said, okay. So on the left, there was upstairs. She said, you want to go upstairs and see? Because it's a 3-bedroom. I said, no, I'm not interested in upstairs. I just want to see how big the layout is on this floor here, because I basically like living downstairs. So we're walking in. I'm looking at the kitchen door wall, big patio door. All kind of garbage out there. Broken tree branches, just everything. You name it, it was out there. I was like, well, you're trying to rent this, and look at this. She said, oh no, we got a company that's going to be coming in. They're going to be cleaning up. She was a fast talker, boy. They're going to be cleaning up this house. I mean, it's going to be pristine, And I said, well, but when I'm looking in the patio door, the kitchen's right there. I'm looking at the kitchen, grease all over the stove, everything. So I guess she's just looking for a fool, okay? So she had papers on the kitchen counter for you to sign if you were interested in the house, and leave a check. And she throwing the paper. Okay, so my lawyer, I had this all drawn up because I know it's going to go fast. I got a couple other people that's going to come and look at it. I said, oh, wow, okay. I said, where's the garage? Well, the garage was to the left. You come in from the garage into the kitchen. Cool. I said, does the door work? She said, yeah. She opened the garage door, and there were clothes stacked up on the side of the wall, like just thrown, And I said, well, what's going to happen to this? Well, they're going to take all this stuff out of here when they come. This just some stuff we left behind, but she had swept it out or whatever. I said, okay. And so she wanted to go back in and look at the paperwork. If you want to read this and go on and sign it, I can, call my lawyer right now and blah, blah, blah. And you can just leave your deposit. And I told her, I said, no. I said, okay, let me say this. I got another house that I want to see, and it's up in Anthem. It's a 1-story, which is something I'm really, really looking for, and that's what I thought I was going to see when I came over here, which is not it. And she said, well, I understand that, but I got 2 other people coming, and this is a good price, and you don't want to pass this up because they may take it. I said, if they do, they do. So I get out there real quick, get in my car. Okay, I'm driving off, and who rings the phone? Her, from a 818 or 800 number. Well, you know what? They should be here in the next half an hour. How long is it going to take you to look at the other house? I said, I don't know. I'm in traffic. I will call you back. I get up to the other house. I called them. It was a foreign guy. And he started telling me about how he had just left there a couple of weeks ago, and he was out of the state, and that I could go on and look at the house. He can't let me in. And I'm looking, he said, but you can look through the back windows, and there's, and you can really see through the house because it's a 1-story. I said, yeah, okay. But, walking up, cobwebs by the door, FedEx packages, like those big letter packages, like you get some mail it's important. Those were by 2 or 3 of them by the door, old newspapers and just all kind of stuff, and cobwebs, okay? So I walk around beside the house. I see an old lady on the other side, and she's watering her grass or doing something and looking at me, and I don't want to scare her and ask her how long has this house been vacant, but I figured it out. So I walked to the back, and I kind of peeked in the door because it was so dirty, you couldn't hardly see anything, but it was old and it was dirty and whatnot. And so I'm walking back, and who rings my phone? Her, again. I told her, I said, you know what, I really like the one here in Anthem, so I'm going to take that one if you don't want, I'm so sorry to have wasted your time. She said, okay, I just want to make sure because these other people will be here anytime now. I said, I get it. I said, well, good luck with it, okay? Then I called him back, and I told him, no, I'm not interested. So these are the things that you're going to see as people are losing their homes and trying to get as much money back as they can from these homes. Now, something else that I remember was people were moving to Las Vegas at that time because it was supposed to be, the money was really good. They were moving here from out of state, renting homes. Like, how you rent a home on what's name, and you come here thinking you got this house. They were going up there, and either foreclosure signs were on the doors, and they've already given their money, and or people are living in the house. Okay? be careful. I know that things are going to be desperate for a lot of us here in Las Vegas for the simple fact that a lot of people are losing their jobs and whatnot. And it's going to be hard for you to rent. And people are going to come at you with, well, don't worry about your eviction or whatever. We'll rent to you or whatever. You're going to be out of your money. You're going to be out of your money and out of somewhere to live, because you'll jump on it thinking, okay, I got somewhere to live, even though, I got an eviction and I got all this bad credit. They want to work with me because they got a story for you. Don't get scammed. Don't get fooled. Was that good? Okay. So what I want you to do is subscribe. Subscribe here. Tell your friends to subscribe. I'm always out there. I'm looking. I like to bring things that can educate you, basically. I want you to be aware of what's happening out here on the streets, because when it comes down to all of this that's happening, and today I saw in the news that Trump, they're now saying they're going to start garnishing wages, okay? So you're going to be stuck trying to figure out where you're going to live. Subscribe, okay? I'm with you. I'm looking, I'm searching, but let's do it on the up and up. See me here, Rosarita yes I said it, -A to Z. Till my next video. See you there. Bye-bye.